This is my 2007 Volkswagen Transporter, and for the last 7 or 8 years of owning this, we've had it out on countless adventures and missions into the Pyrenees, deep into Alpine territory, where the snow is deep, the roads are frozen, and the conditions are just epic for adventures. But the time has come to fix everything that's failing on this old van, starting with a full rebuild of the front suspension. So as I said, the van is a 2007 and it's pretty much stock in terms of components and engine. We've got a few add-ons, but today we're going to start with the front suspension because there's a lot of knocking, gaskets are failing, and it's time to address the problems that we've got. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Alex. I am the founding editor of Adventure Magazine. I'm an outdoors photographer, freelance travel writer, and just genuinely, I love being in my van in the mountains. So come along with me, I'm going to learn something new. I am not a mechanic. This is going to be learning on the job. So let's start by jacking the van up and getting the wheel off. So now I've managed to jack up the van, get it on the axle stands and get that wheel off. I'm able to have a good look into the wheel arch here. And here you can see the oil coming out of that shock, which is the first thing that I saw, the reason why I think this job needed doing. And upon further inspection, I can see that the drop link gaskets have also failed. There's a lot of rust build up. I think really it just needs some TLC. And upon further inspection, I found something that I wasn't expecting. I think that's the CV boot. It's either split or come off. And I noticed there's a lot of oil and wetness around here. And I was fearing the worst of an oil leak, but I'm thinking it's actually all the grease and the stuff in there. I guess it was a good time to find it. Oh my God, I'm not even an hour into this job and I've snapped the first bolt off. That is one of the big bolts for the lower ball joint, and that snapped off in there. I'm not sure what that means. So one of the reasons why I wanted to start tackling my own mechanics on the van was not only to save some money, but just to be more resourceful in general. Be the guy who can fix his own car. And yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting into starting this job. I thought something like getting the drop links out here was going to be an easy task, but let me tell you, that ended up being, I can't say one of the hardest jobs because the whole thing was hard, but super hard. The top and the bottom was completely frozen. Yeah, I thought it would be a case of squirting on some penetrating oil, leaving that to soak, and then being able to, crack off the nuts. But no chance. This one here was completely frozen. So I've got the Allen key bit in there, or the star bit, I think it is, with the spanner on the end, and it's just not going anywhere. You know what, if there was ever a time to give a reminder for that disclaimer that I'm not a professional, you probably shouldn't copy me. I'm just trying to feel enabled for myself to not be scared of doing a bit of work on my van. Massive thank you to Lee and Ross at Coombe Valley Campers for putting up with my numerous failure messages that I keep sending through. I can't believe I'm about to admit to this one. So the airbox comes off of this when you're doing the work for the suspension so that you can get access to the top strut bolt on the mount there. Sorry, the top mount on the strut. There's the airbox. And the air tube that goes down to the turbo, where they say to stuff it with a rag, don't they, to stop things going in it. Well, I stuffed mine with tissue paper and I stupidly turned the fucking engine on. I'm so lucky because it hasn't been shredded by the turbo. So again, thank you so much, Lee, Ross. Ross, thank you for not laughing at me on the phone. This is amateur hour, man. Fucking A. And here is the joy of owning two vans, two of which don't work properly, but hey, at least I can drive down the country lane to the next village to grab what I need. I got a few plans of attack in mind, and I'm just nipping over to my friend's house to pick up a pair of mole grips who didn't have a set. I'm going to try and grab that bolt and from behind and then hopefully stop it from spinning and use the socket to get it off. And if that don't work, then I'm going to go and get a angle grinder and cut that bad boy off. So maybe a question here for all of the people that are a lot more clued up than I am. It seems to be like there's a lot of play on the axle here. Is that normal? Is it something to do with the split casket back there? Can you let me know in the comments? You've seen this, it's not coming out because of the bolts, so I'm just going to prise that up. Right. To be honest, this is the most horrible job I've ever done. Making a magazine is much more tranquil. I'm sure it's going to feel good afterwards with a beer, but right now I'm not enjoying this. Sorry, sponsors. So after getting the axle out of the steering knuckle, I realised the sheer weight that this piece weighs. So I'm trying to figure out how to best remove the knuckle completely so that I can work on getting those sheared off bolts of the bottom there. Trying to use a ball joint compressor, a hammer, just nothing's getting that tie rod out. Right, by this point in the day, I'm pretty tired. I'm hungry and I've had enough. I have not been able to get that ball joint out, so I'm gonna leave that to soak overnight. Anyway, the last thing I'm gonna do for today is drop the strut out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's gonna come out nice and easy because I didn't see any rust on the top. It was nice and clean. The right size socket up there and the Allen key bit on top. And yeah, loosening it off. I'm just gonna support it from underneath because it's gonna drop down when it does that. Hopefully, that's a couple of minutes job. Then I'm off some food. Alright, so we're here, we're set up, we've got the vise, we've got the spring compressor, and we've got the broken strut out of the T5. So I've never done this before. I think I'm just going to stick the camera to time lapse so that I don't have the pressure of trying to get shots and things, because this is the bit that I wasn't really looking forward to. And I say that I wasn't looking forward to this part because, in all honesty, I thought it was only going to take the weekend to do both sides of the van. That's the full suspension change on both the left and right hand sides. And by this point, it had taken me 3 days to just get the strut out. But anyway, I'm really glad that I bought this heavy duty spring compressor, a vise, and mounted it all onto this Euro pallet here for stability. Look at that, gone in the bin. So I've just got all the new parts here on the pallet, just having a look, make sure I know where it's all going. We've got the new strut here. We've got the gasket. I've checked the top and the bottom to the old parts. Put that on like that. Then we've got the bump stop. Again, I've checked the top and the bottoms. Go on like so. Double checking that this goes into here, nice and secure. This is the very top. And then in like so, and across the top of the bump stop. So obviously to get it back into the spring, what I'm going to do is take it on like this, thread it through the spring. Just thought I'd make a note about my safety goggles. I actually bought these. I mean, they are safety goggles. I bought them for ski touring at night time, and they work absolutely perfectly. Loads of ventilation. Yeah, because when you're out there on the mountain at night time and there's wind and there's snow and obviously it's pitch black, so you need some sort of eye protection. These work fantastic. Anyway, they are my my trendy work goggles for today. The spring out of the compressor there, pull that gasket down, and then that part of the job is done. I just thought I'd show you over my setup real quick. I have got this spring compressor here, a heavy duty one. It was a really great purchase. It was just over €100. Come with different size clamps for different size springs. So I'm using the largest ones here to fit on the T5, but I do expect to do the T3 front suspension at some point when this is all over, so that would definitely pay for itself, that kit. But I did have to buy a vise. I got this Stanley Fat Max, and I mounted it to this Euro pallet here. I will buy a workbench and build it and put it over there somewhere when I've got a minute, but not right now. So this has worked really well. It's nice and sturdy.
Don't love this, just because of the amount of tension that's under. So anyway, I've redressed with a new Bilstein shock, the new components. The only thing I'm reusing here is the spring. I've looked it over and it's in absolutely fine shape. So I think that's yeah, definitely good enough for now. So now I think all that's left is I've done the bolt up here. Anyway, so the last thing to do is release the spring here nice and carefully, and then just put the gasket down to the end. And then that part of the job is done.
Look at this view driving out of the garage area. Oh, what a beautiful day. Oh, love it. So that wraps up part 1 of fixing everything that's broken on my VW-T5 front suspension. A massive thank you to Heritage Parts Centre for being able to get these parts out to me here in the Pyrenees. So subscribe, stay tuned, and hang on for part 2. See you on the road.